Now with Republican Congressman Jason Lewis of Minnesota. He is a member of the House Budget Committee, which means, Congressman, you actually already got to vote on this bill, and you were a yes vote in the Budget Committee on the current plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. Are you a committed yes vote going forward?
Well, I think there are going to be some changes going forward, John, and that's a good thing. It'll make the bill better. I voted for a couple of motions to instruct the chair on some of these changes. Some amendments we'll see out of rules probably, and that's good. Make the bill better. But look, Minnesota's exchanges are dying. I mean, we've had 55 to 67% premium increases. Blue Cross and Blue Shield drop 100,000 people. Minnesota. The Democratic governor of Minnesota says the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable. The Commerce Commissioner calls it an emergency situation. And finally, John, the state of Minnesota had to pass a $310 million emergency bailout for people subscribing to the exchanges just to keep them in. So this is a dire moment for the health insurance markets, and we've got to stop that. And I think this bill goes a long way towards that.
I wish my co-anchor Poppy Harlow were here with me this morning. She's a Minnesota native. She could get into it with you on the back and forth of the facts on Minnesota. I do want to ask you specifically, because Ken Buck of Colorado, mentioned two specific changes he would like to see. He's a no vote right now, but he could get to yes. He says if you provide a work requirement for some of the people on Medicaid going forward. And also, he wants to see what a number of Republicans told me they want to see is a whole separate bill going up next week, which deals with some of the other things that many people want to see in a repeal and reform. Is that something you could support?
Well, I'd love to support that. I've said all along, I think a number of bills are quite good. You've got Tom Price's bill, you've got the American Health Care Act, you've got Rand Paul's bill over in the Senate. All of those are good. The question is what you can get done with 60 votes versus 51 votes. We're starting with reconciliation because we can get the ball rolling that way. And I think it's a little odd to say, gosh, we have to do it all at once, and I'm certain the Senate will give us 60 votes right now in one day. But if we wait a month to add the buying across state lines or undoing the essential wellness benefits, which drive up the cost of premiums, if we wait a month, why then we can't possibly get 60 votes? I'm not certain the reasoning there.
24 million Americans could be without insurance, 24 million Americans in 10 years based on the Congressional Budget Office report. Is that a concern to you?
Of course it's a concern, but remember, the CBO report just did this first bucket, reconciliation. When we get those follow-on bills, when Dr. Price does what he can at HHS, I think that's going to change. I would also remind you that the CBO also overestimated by about 10 million the number of people that would buy insurance under Obamacare. But look, the bottom line, John, is this. If you've got a mandate that says you have to buy the kind of plan the government wants you to buy on a government exchange, and you undo that mandate, and 14 million people say, oh, without the mandate, I'm not going to buy it, doesn't sound to me like a product they really want.
It's not all the people. The full 24 million includes some people who will choose not to be on it, that the CBO did say, but includes many more who will lose because of Medicaid, who will be priced out as well. So I do appreciate your point there, though it does include some people.
I lost 3 plans on the individual market under Obamacare in Minnesota. There are people losing plans right and left on the 1,000 counties with one insurer, John. Those people are losing plans.
Look, that is true. But again, premiums were rising before Obamacare. They rose during Obamacare. There were few options for some people before Obamacare and then during Obamacare. Healthcare has been a problem for a long, long time, period, full stop on that, and I'm glad we agree on that. Let me ask you something that just happened overnight.
And that's why, by the way, the American Health Care Act goes back beyond the Affordable Care Act and reforms health care, tax parity, undoing the mandates, going all the way back to World War II wage and price controls. This is global health care reform. It's not just undoing Obamacare.
All right, Congressman Jason Lewis from Minnesota, thank you so much for being with us this morning. You're my second favorite Minnesotan today after Poppy Harlow, who's not here with me, so appreciate it.